17-year-old Jonathan Johnfredo was born with the genetic condition Epidermolysis Bullosa, or EB. His body lacks a vital protein that holds it together.
I am fragile on the outside because of the skin disorder, but on the inside, I'm just as weak.
The day Jonathan was born was pretty hectic. They noticed something wasn't right, and he was missing a little bit of skin here and there. And I figured, oh, he was just in too long. He was 2 weeks late. Then they bring testing for certain problems, and the skin completely tore off when they tried to get a little blood out of him. I had people coming and saying, oh, this is what we think he has, Epidermolysis Bullosa. And I said, can you spell that for me? It was pretty devastating, and it was probably one of the worst days of my life, because they told me how horrible his life was going to be. He wouldn't be able to eat without pain. He wouldn't be able to walk without pain. Everything was just going to be pain. I didn't know if he was going to live, if he was going to make it. We even had a priest give him his last rites just in case. I just cried till I fell asleep. A doctor come in and he asked, do you have any questions? I said, when can I hold him? And as soon as they put him in my arms, he just looked at me and smiled. And I just felt a wave of relief. It just made me feel like it's gonna be okay.
Sufferers of this life-limiting disease are prone to serious infections and skin cancers.
I don't know how long I have with him. There is a life expectancy. It scares me every day. So every day I want to make it as meaningful as possible.
We're making John's soup.
Making John's soup?
John's soup.
Should I have him go get
Now only at selected locations. That's right, ladies, I'm available.
If he didn't have the personality that he did, I think it would be 10 times harder.
You want some carrots and celery and...
No, all I want is some girls in here.
You want some girls?
Seeing him smile just makes me feel better. Makes me feel like I'm not doing everything wrong.
It gets super cold once you get out of that tub because you're soaking wet. People say I know just how you feel when really they never do, unless they get the experience. Unless they had it for just one day of my life. It's just torture mentally and physically.
All right, Charlie. You know, you're gonna flip yourself over the back of this bed. Ew, ew. So nasty.
Like John, 11-year-old Charlie Nuth was born with the most severe type of EB. Tricia and her husband adopted him after he was abandoned at birth because of his condition.
I got the phone call, and they said that he had a lethal skin disease, and he would not live very long at all, definitely not even a year. Any sort of shifting or moving of the skin will cause wounds similar to 2nd and 3rd degree burns all over the body and blisters. That's inside and out, so it affects the GI tract, the mouth, the eyes. It literally affects every single organ in the body.
This was one of the worst cases of EB the doctors had ever seen.
The hardest thing I have ever done, ever in my life, was to stay brave in front of Charlie when I thought he was gonna die. You know, when you see your own kid ripping their skin off in front of you, you know, I would start to lose it myself. I'll cry every time I say this. That even as a 2-year-old, he would comfort me.
Hi, you fucking fish.
Say hello, people.
Hello, big butterfly.
Constantly on death's door, Charlie was thrown a lifeline. Mum Tricia pushed for him to be one of the first patients for a radical new surgery. A donor's bone marrow was implanted into Charlie and released stem cells that healed the body from within.
I mean, within weeks, you could literally watch his skin healing. It started in his head, and you could see it traveling down his body. And overnight, I witnessed his skin go from tissue paper, translucent in appearance, looked like normal little boy skin. I've never ever seen any sort of research or clinical trial ever show those dramatic results. He was incredible. He probably had the best year and a half of his life after that transplant. He didn't have to be covered in dressings, went swimming. Jump! His life has drastically improved.
It helped my skin a lot.
All right, how's that? Good?
Good. It's good. Usually my skin would just come, right off. But now I can rub it freely and it won't hurt me. See? And no.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Feels nice, actually.
Whilst Charlie is reaping the benefits of his bone marrow transplant, John has never considered this therapy. It was 10 years ago when Brenda first heard about it being trialled.
I went online, investigated as much as I could. It was new, there wasn't a lot out there. We mentioned it to John. We told him, well, it's a bone marrow transplant. He's like, well, what could happen to me? He said, there has been some that haven't made it. He's like, well, then I'm not doing it. If you're not giving me 100% guarantee, forget it.
I just know from what I've heard from other parents, I guess one kid ended up dying from it. A couple kids maybe. Just too much of a risk, and I don't want to take that.
Without treatment, most people who have John's type of EB will die by the time they reach 30. Will he ever overcome his fears and consider following in Charlie's footsteps by having a potentially life-enhancing procedure? 17-year-old John was born with the life-threatening disease EB, which affects the whole body, inside and out.
I can't do things normal kids usually can do. I can't walk, really, and since my skin's so fragile, I can't play any sport. There's just too many things that I can't do that I wish I could do.
Probably bothers me more than him when I see his classmates going to prom and having their girlfriends and doing all that, and he just isn't able to do that.
The condition impacts every aspect of his daily life.
Goes right into his gastronomy tube. It clicks in, and then you're able to give food, water, medications, whatever is needed.
His skin requires meticulous attention. Bathing and bandaging takes around 4 hours every night.
Ready?
Yeah.
He takes pain relief medication throughout the day.
It takes a half hour, maybe 45 minutes at most, for the painkillers to kick in. And it's fine.
When it comes to his skin disorder and medical, he's way more grown up than any kid his age should have to be.
Been doing this for 17 years, and we probably use about 30 bandages a day. And these are a box of 5, and they're probably $150 to $200 for one box. I would guess $3,000 to $5,000 a month in just dressings. It's quite a bit of money. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have insurance coverage. It would be very difficult.
Just a progressive disorder. It just seems like the older it gets, the worse it gets. Every now and again, he'll say some difficult things like, why does it have to be me? But he wants to get out. He doesn't want to just sit in his room all day and do nothing for the rest of his life. So he wants to, and we'll find a way to make it happen.
In spite of his condition, John is graduating from high school in 2 months' time and is making plans for his future.
My dream job would be working just with animals or something. So at least I could get out of the house once in a while and not just watching YouTube all day. Hey, I'm the one working today. Come to me.
So there's 2 donkeys in there, 2 mini donkeys, and then there's 2 mini horses.
That's what I thought. That'd be the perfect horse for me.
Yes, it would.
I love working with all the animals. I could even help with education. That could be a possibility too.
I'm going to show you how we make diets. If you want, you can help me.
All right, figure it out.
You can put 6 of those in this bag. Yep, this is just dog crunchies.
That's what they look like.
Yep. And then
Yes, it's someone new. It's okay, I work here for the day. It's okay, you can trust me. A very cute face. For alpaca. We don't speak Espanol. So beautiful to look at, just seeing how they play and stuff. They're remarkable animals.
You want to hang out right there? Yep.
I think he's having trouble.
There we go.
Why is his water dirty?
Yep, he usually goes to the bathroom in it.
Should we refill it for him? Oh! I really wish I wasn't that close. Ugh. We're coming to give you food. How do you turn it on?
You just lift this.
Oh, of course.
You wanna help?
I got it. Hey, you are. It's been a very exciting day feeding all the animals, just taking a look at how the job is done. I would like this job. It did make a little bit of a difference, just knowing I could do something. So knowing I'm one step to getting a job, so that's pretty exciting.
While John is just managing his EB, Charlie is reaping the benefits from groundbreaking new therapies.
There, how's that? Good? Okay, now let's get this done.
I love my mom more than the galaxy. She's really caring and loving. She's everything in a mom you need.
The process of doing this previously was so meticulous. I mean, we had to sedate him to even put bandages on him because it was that traumatic and that painful. You know, previously his skin was so fragile, it just melted right off his body. I mean, it would just, if you grabbed his hand too hard, you could just deglove his entire hand. That's how fragile he was. You know, getting into a bathtub with just nothing but dermis showing. And you can imagine the water hitting that. It was like acid hitting his wounds, and he would scream and shake. And after his transplant, he never ever did that again. You know, it was like science fiction watching his skin change. And considering that he has the worst form of recessive dystrophic EB, he's doing pretty darn good.
Leading the charge in the fight against EB is Charlie's surgeon, Dr. Jakob Tolar.
Charlie is one of the best. My first encounter with him was defining, for me anyway, because he bit me in the exam room. He was so outside of his mind with pain. And we knew that he's gonna do very poorly if we don't do something quick. And he has been, for many years now, deriving phenomenal benefits from the bone marrow transplant.
Dr. Tolar is a really good dude. He helped me a lot in life. The transplant was not something easy, but they managed to do it. Now I'm able to eat a ton of things like pizza.
You want some?
Yeah. He made me just fully become myself.
There's nothing in what we have done that is miraculous. This is an outcome of a solid methodological laboratory work. We deconstructed the problem, we put the pieces together, we figured out how it is possible to approach this. That's why these kids are better.
Charlie has greatly benefited from the transplant treatment, but at present he still has this incurable disease.
I know that a cure for EB is going to come out of the University of Minnesota, and Dr. Tolar, Dr. Jakob Tolar, is going to be the man that does it.
Unlike Charlie, John tries to avoid any medical intervention, especially after a routine procedure last year didn't go to plan.
My last throat operation, they couldn't get the breathing tube down my throat. My lung collapsed, which is never good because that means you're kind of half dying. So they try to get me up, and they're still going, and I guess my other lung starts to collapse. It doesn't fully collapse, it starts to. So then they stop. And I was under oxygen. I had trouble breathing. I almost died, pretty much was the fact. I almost died. I had a near-death experience. I thought this was a way of the world showing me this is it. I was ready to give up.
In hospital, John came across a story that would become a source of inspiration, pulling him through his darkest days.
Winter's their most famous dolphin. If you can kind of notice on her tail, there's like no fin. See it? She has a prosthetic that she wears. She is so cute. And just knowing she never gave up made me think, I can't give up. I can't. So I never gave up. Put it lower, just put it a little lower. Yeah, right there. That looks good, that looks very good.
Winter's story meant so much to John that he now fundraises for the marine hospital that saved her.
Our goal is to reach $200 for Clearwater Marine Aquarium so they can expand the medical and technology they need to give Winter and her friends a better life. You guys ready to donate? Stay 2 donations. Right here, donations. Thank you very much.
His thing right now is Winter the dolphin. He watched it, and then it was just like has consumed his life.
Donations right here. If you'd like to donate, come on down.
He wants to do whatever he can to help. He had me send in money so that he could adopt her for a year. He just looks at her and says, wow, they had no hope. They thought, oh, we can't do anything. A dolphin with no tail. They're not gonna be able to swim. She's gonna get probably depressed, and she's just gonna give up. But she didn't give up, I guess. She's just become an inspiration to him.
Would you guys like to donate?
You know, he's worried. He's like, oh, I want to get down there and see her before anything happens to her or me.
Thinking of almost $100. Our goal is $200, so we're pretty much halfway there. Thank you very much. No. You want to take a selfie with the stuffed bush?
I mean, geez, it's like the leprechaun's pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right?
I feel like I should be giving back to her because of how much she inspired me despite watching her on a TV screen. And that's why I like to meet her, so I could just say thank you a bunch to her.
Though Winter the dolphin helped John get through a difficult time last year, he is still anxious about any form of medical intervention. His next round of surgery is to expand his esophagus, which has been closing up, restricting his breathing.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, I'm Susie Ashton. I'm one of the nurse practitioners. Hi, Jonathan. How are you today?
Before the procedure can begin, the hospital needs to be aware of all John's medications.
Do you have a lot of pain?
Yeah, but that's part of the disorder.
Yeah. I have quite a list of medications here.
Most of the medication he's on is for pain.
Using the lidocaine gel, the oxycodone.
So he takes that before dressings.
It's a long list.
I'm always nervous when he goes to surgery, especially this past summer when the doctor came out and said, oh, well, his lung collapsed. We had to stop the surgery. I think he just hasn't been really talking about it because if he doesn't talk about it, maybe it's not going to happen.
Brenda hopes her son can overcome his deep-seated fear of surgery so that one day he might consider treatment rather than just management of his EB.
Maybe someday he can live without pain and wounds and have somewhat of a normal life.
Hey!
Hey, guy, how you doing?
I'm nervous.
Understandably so.
I just don't want things to go like they did last time. You don't think something's working and you think something's going wrong, please stop.
Yep, and that's what we did last time.
Sooner, sooner. Don't keep trying.
It took a while for everything to heal up and the swelling.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Understandable.
As a mom, probably the hardest part about this disorder, I can't make it better.
Winter's going into surgery with John.
If John can get his confidence back and would consider undergoing the bone marrow transplant, the results could be life-changing.
We need one to go right and perfect, and then he'll have a little more confidence in the doctors and that he can still have these things done with not a ton of trauma.
Love you.
We'll take good care of him.
John is in hospital, having surgery to widen his throat cavity.
When his throat starts to close up, he has more trouble swallowing, like saliva, water, and then he has to spit it out. He just can't. Everything just collects in his mouth. He's had this done at least 10 to 12 times.
The last time he had this procedure, there were near-fatal complications.
He's very nervous about it because last time it was scary. And now every time it's like, okay, is this going to happen again?
Well, that's where his stricture is. That's C6, so that's almost where you're at.
The plan is to push rods down John's throat in order to open it up.
There's stiff dilators that go down and that are tapered, and so they kind of sequentially open up the stricture.
Okay, I'm pulling the wire.
Okay. Oh, so that's curling up. The hard part was trying to get into the lumen of the esophagus, or the opening, because it's very tight. So now comes the part where we try and dilate open that stricture.
So the size of the scope is 6, 7.
Come up.
Yeah.
This was about as smooth as we could have expected.
It's okay, honey.
Yeah, coming out. Yep, okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Let's make sure we have the dolphin. There will be hell to pay if we don't have the dolphin.
The procedure has been a success. It's an enormous relief for John and his mum Brenda, who hopes that his anxiety around future surgery might be lessened.
Hi.
Hey, John.
Go home, get some rest. Right?
After John's surgery went smoothly, Brenda is hoping she'll finally be able to revisit a conversation they had 10 years ago about him having a potentially life-enhancing bone marrow transplant.
So when we first talked about the thing Dr. Tollers is doing in Minnesota was many, many years ago. You remember that?
Yes, that was where you said it was like a 50-50 chance. And
That's when we were just learning about it. We didn't know too much about it. The way medicine is, it always has advances. So, 10 years later, I think he's tweaked things here and there to know, okay, what works better, what doesn't. I'd hate for you to decide something that
could make a big impact.
Just because you don't know what it is.
Right.
So you need to know what it is first.
Yes.
So how do you feel about going and seeing Dr. Toller?
I'm all right with seeing him. I'm not okay with scheduling a surgery for him.
Do you have any specific questions you want to ask him?
Not off the top of my head, because I really haven't thought about it.
So you can ask him what the risks are, and I think it's a good time to meet him because I think you're taking more charge of your disorder a little bit more. I think now that you're older and wanting to make the decisions and just, I just want to try to help you get the information so you make not maybe the right decision, but
no, but at least a decision, I think is what you're trying to say.
I would like to know, like, kids that had it done, how are they doing now? What did it fix? What did it not fix? Get more details from them about exactly how it works.
That would be fine. Like I said, I'll agree to meeting him and asking him questions about it and, like, seeing how, or hearing how it's done. I don't agree to do it. That's one thing.
Right. It's better to have all the information before you make a decision. I'm never going to do this because of whatever. I'd like to guide you in the right ways, if I can.
John is considering the bone marrow transplant, which 11-year-old Charlie underwent 5 years ago.
Hey, do you want to play superheroes and bad guys in real life? Yeah.
He loves his family. He loves his life. He's positive about his future. He just wants to be a regular kid. That's all he wants. He could definitely wallow in his suffering, and he doesn't. He does not do that. He wants to play, and when he plays, he forgets about pain.
Zachary is in school. He's 7. He loves to play with me, but he's really into guns.
We're far more relaxed. We don't have to constantly protect him. He can be more independent. He can play with a group of friends. We're not going to worry about some child, stepping on his foot and tearing all the skin off his foot.
Tricia has embraced every trial and treatment to counter Charlie's EB and improve his quality of life.
I want people to understand that this is not a disease of the skin. It affects inside out, and I believe that treating this disorder systematically will cure EB.
You can do it. I'll help you.
Charlie has recently undergone hand reconstruction surgery as scar tissue had fused his fingers together.
My hands were curled up. I have titanium rods in my fingers right now to keep them straight. And it's actually inside the bone. It's a little painful, but I've gotten more painful things in my life.
He's been in this contraption now for, it'll be a month, I think, next week. And the hope is that we'll be able to remove those rods and, heal his hands, and he'll have full use of his hands again.
Hey, can you put this guy on my car? Yes, that soldier. We're doing it, and a week from now, here come out the middle rods. There might be a little blood here and there, but it's fine.
These kids, what they go through and what they endure is just unimaginable to most people.
When he was close to death last year, John was inspired by the survival story of a young dolphin that was critically injured after becoming trapped in fishing lines. Since then, he has been fundraising for the marine hospital that looks after her.
Can you hear me?
I sure can. Who's this?
This is Brenda.
Hi, Brenda. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Nice to talk to you guys.
And Jonathan's here too.
This is David Jinks. Is this John?
Why does your name sound familiar?
Well, I am the director at Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Have you heard of Clearwater Marine Aquarium before?
I have your Facebook and everything. I've been doing a fundraiser at school. How did you get her number?
Well, who knows? Funny things happen. So people talk, and your story kind of gets out. And so, by the way, yeah, tell me about your fundraising. I hear you're actually fundraising for Clearwater Marine Aquariums. How's that going? Tell me about that.
We're almost halfway to our goal is to reach $200 for you guys.
Wow, that is really, really cool. And that says a lot about the kind of young man you are. I understand that you watched either the Dolphin Tale movies.
They actually got me through the summer. I was in the hospital this summer. I had a bunch of surgeries, and she was the only thing that kept me going.
So I'd like to invite you and your family down to come meet Winter. Also,
Are you serious?
As our guest, and get a chance to meet the dolphin that inspired you. Can we do that?
That would be amazing. That would be awesome.
It is, right?
I am so glad. Oh, my God.
Pack your bags and head to Clearwater pretty soon, okay?
Alrighty then. Thank you very much. I can't explain how happy I am right now. My heart was racing when I heard his voice. I'm like...
So this is not a dream. You just got a call from, like, the head of Clearwater.
Yeah, he's the head of the Clearwater. He's the one who was in the video.
Says he wants you to come down and meet Winter and Hope on Saturday.
Pinch me, please.
I can't.
Fine. What the heck just happened here?
I hope, if he does get to meet Winter, that it does give him more inspiration and more fight. And, okay, this is what I got to do. I'm just going to do it. That's it. And, I think a lot of this disorder is just your will to fight and your will to want to live.
Before John's trip to Florida to meet Winter, Brenda has brought him to Minneapolis to see Dr. Tolar in the hope that her son might consider his pioneering EB treatment.
Hi, Jonathan. How are ya?
For the first time ever, John is meeting someone who could extend and improve his life beyond all measure.
So, what I'd like to do today is to talk with you and see if there's anything that I can help with.
What I'd like to know is what this does, or what involves, so a little information or history on it.
Yep. Oh, cool. So this is basically what a normal skin looks like. This is the top part of the skin. Yep. And this here are 3 molecules of the type 7 collagen together. This is what you don't have.
That's what I don't have, these guys.
That's exactly right. If you replace just that one missing protein, you will allow the skin, that's just fine altogether.
To regenerate by
itself. To regenerate, that's a good word actually. Regenerate, in a way that a skin normally would grow. I have more than 30 people with transplant that I've transplanted for EB, for the kind that you have, and majority of them have gotten much, much better. Okay, not all of them, because some of them died. Some of them died because of the transplant itself.
Yeah, that's the thing that kind of.
I know. Most of the children that were not able to live through this were the one at the very beginning, when we didn't know all the things that we know now. You get unfiltered honesty from me, okay? This is way too serious, and for you to travel here, for me to tell you something that's not perfect truth, is ridiculous.
That isn't a risk taker, pretty much.
Yeah, there is risk.
Yeah.
Of course there is risk.
Risk in
But
everything.
there is, and being alive with recessive dystrophic EB is risky. It's incredibly risky. So you balance these risks, of the
You gotta
disease.
choose which is better. Is it to
That's
go through
exactly-
this, but a possible death, or do you live with this and live longer?
It's much, much safer. And the last, I think, 12 or 13 are alive, with the transplant, and actually have done very well.
Do you notice a difference how you used to do it at the beginning and how the results are?
Huge difference.
Huge
difference.
This is a lot more advanced than I think what I was reading when you first started.
Do you still see these people to make sure they're still doing okay?
Yeah, I see them every year. I see every single person.
So once a year you have to check in.
Yes, you do.
Anybody from Connecticut?
Not at the moment, no.
You could be the first.
It's not a bad thing to be first in something. All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Been very, very
Thank you so much.
Yes.
big honor. You're very welcome.
That was very good.
You glad you came now?
Yeah.
I mean, he's showing you results, and I know you don't like to see these pictures.
Yeah,
but
but-
look at the difference.
Well,
I see this, and it gives me hope.
well
It
hopefully
really does.
Winter and Hope give us more inspiration tomorrow.
If this worked, there would not be a life
There would-
expectancy issue.
I know, that would be so awesome.
The biggest thing you get out of this is you may live longer than me. And be able to maybe have a somewhat normal life. Maybe-
I don't think I would ever have a normal life.
You never know if
Well, it's something to think about. It's definitely something that
and
we
think
need to
of
think
one
about.
thing, the pain would be gone.
Not fully gone, it would still be there.
You might have some aches and pains, but you wouldn't have the pain you have now.
No, I wouldn't. That'd be
You
something
wouldn't have the
awesome to
pain,
feel.
and maybe
We'd actually be
you
able to do
could
more
have-
stuff.
But hey, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of lost hope for a while. This gives me hope again.
Before travelling to Florida, John has come to meet Charlie to see firsthand what Dr. Tolar's groundbreaking treatment could do for him.
Now, it's gonna be awesome. Here is a cool kid. Can't wait to do cool stuff with him. Hi! Careful, people. Hi, my name is John. Nice to meet you, Charlie. How you doing? Have you ever been here?
Yeah, 1,000 times.
This is my first time here. I walk in, I see a roller coaster in the background. I was like, why would you build this? Bone marrow transplant? How's your skin from it?
Look at this.
Is it okay?
Look at that.
Oh, that's pretty good. It's very strong. See down here on your leg, it looks pretty strong there.
Yeah.
Where my legs down there are a mess.
Your skin gets
Better, it gets stronger.
tough.
Would you recommend it?
I don't know that I'm going to recommend it to people. I can tell you our experience. If we had to do it all over again for Charlie, we would do it again. It's changed his life. It's been worth it.
It has some pictures how his skin looked. Looked amazing.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something I might consider. So very informative. I got a lot to think about over the next couple months to year to come. It feels like the rainforest in here.
Jonathan and him were really good together. John was like his big brother. And
ices. I don't know if you like ices.
Can we try one of those, please? That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But-
You want that instead of the...
No, for him, I bet. I realize he's sassy and stuff, just like me. Keep it going, Charlie. Cha-cha! Hey, my man! Hey, my man! Bone marrow transplant, but it's risky. and I just don't want anything to go wrong.
I have been looking for him everywhere I go and everywhere.
And it's something I need to think about, so we'll figure that out when the time comes.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jessica. Good job.
It's the next day, and Charlie and his parents are meeting Dr. Tolar to discuss the progress of his hand reconstruction surgery.
How are you going to test them?
We're gonna get 10 new nerve guns, so...
Oh, 10 nerve guns?
Yeah, so I think my hands will be pretty busy.
Mum Tricia is delighted with the progress Charlie has made, but she lives in hope that one day her son might be rid of the disease entirely.
Of course, I'm going to ask, I know this year there are going to be some clinical trials in the U.S. Using gene editing.
Yep.
And I also understand that if those are successful, then most likely then other clinical trials will follow.
Gene editing is where we can take out that single letter in the 3 billion that we have in each cell, that one that causes the type 7 collagen to malfunction, and we replace it with a healthy one. The first, really, despite what everybody wants, is safety.
Right.
It's really, I want to show that this can be safely used.
Right.
Also, we basically need somebody to step in and fund it.
I'm always trying to think of where that funding can come from, and how us families can help make that happen faster, because obviously, every day that goes by is just a ticking clock.
It's
Charlie's,
time. It's
exactly.
Time is the most valuable thing we have.
And
or don't.
And when I watched Charlie's
Who's
skin
looking?
change from his transplant, it was so incredibly dramatic. I mean, it took my breath away as I watched it happen, and I so badly want to see that happen again.
But we are on the right track.
I know. My dreams for Charlie are that he will benefit from genome editing, that he will be part of a cure for EB, or at least a real treatment that drastically reduces the severity of the disorder.
Before they leave, Charlie has asked whether he could see his own harvested cells in the lab.
It's warm.
Dr. Tolar has used the gene editing technique to reconfigure the DNA in Charlie's cells, in effect, removing the EB.
So we're gonna look now at the real thing. There are not very many people who have seen this.
If funded, a clinical trial would see these cells being put back into Charlie's body.
Our aim is to take that corrected cell, amplify it through a stem cell stage, and then design a live supply of cells for that person that she or he can use for the rest of their lives.
I want him to have a full life and be able to, go to school and have a future after school, go on to college. I want him to be independent.
So what you're seeing,
Tackling genome editing to actually cure the disease from the inside out. It's changed our lives because we believe that there's hope now.
My cells look awesome.
Because you are awesome. Every bit of you is awesome.
What did we have to believe before that? That some cream is maybe going to stop Charlie from itching? I don't care about that. That's not going to give us hope.
John has made the journey to Florida, to the Clearwater Marine Hospital, home of Winter the tailless dolphin.
some photos in front of the green screen before you get started.
1, 2, 3. So we're gonna do some fun ones now.
It's a dream come true for John, meeting the dolphin that helped him through the most difficult period of his life.
Seeing John actually speechless for once was amazing. He's never speechless.
Did you hear? Are you excited?
Yep.
All right, it's gonna be awesome.
Wanna come and you sit down right here on the towel? You can do that. Or if it's more comfortable, you can sit on that ledge. Whatever's comfortable for you. Wave to her. Oh, you are so cute. You're so adorable. Yeah, you did it. Good job. Okay, what we're gonna have you do is Winter's gonna sit right up in front of you, You're gonna be your trainer, okay? So what I want you to do is put your hands up like this, up in the air, and you're gonna sway back and forth from side to side. And she's gonna follow you.
This is very nice. I love this.
Awesome.
I love this.
It's hard to see kids go through what they go through and still be so happy in life. The happiness is, like, guess, the only silver lining around the whole thing.
I keep everything in life from falling apart and going downhill with happy thoughts. I got a lot to think about over the next couple months.
My dream is that for these children, like Charlie, like Jonathan, EB and related disorders will go the same way tuberculosis went. Who knows about TB today?
The only thing stopping a clinical trial from happening, and the only thing that's making my child and other children wait for relief, is funding for a clinical trial. It's not even about the research anymore. All we need is the money is to make it happen. And if we had the money, we could start tomorrow.
If I decide to get the surgery, we'll let you know. And now let's end this documentary, right?